LGC Capital is a multi-strategy investment company that invests in Cuba across many industries: oil and gas, sports, agriculture, and travel. We see a lot of potential in Cuba, and it will allow investors a chance to get exposure to Cuba because there's really no other place to go for that type of exposure. The major growth opportunities are driven by the warming of relations between the U.S. and Cuba. Cuba has been open to a lot of other places in the world, but the U.S. Consumer and tourists coming into the island is driving a lot of new growth opportunities in Cuba for tourism. And then because of their exposure, when they get to Cuba and when they learn about what the island has to offer, it can lead to demand for things like coffee, which is one of our other investments. So there's a lot of curiosity, a lot of interest from consumers in the U.S. for Cuba. So some of the challenges that we see in working with Cuba and building this company that invests across so many different industries is Cuba's been relatively closed to commercial endeavors. So basically it takes a while for us to manage expectations and manage growth. Cuba is growing at such a rapid pace, and they collectively with us need to learn how to work together to make things go faster. So we're very excited about that. The other challenge is really that many investors in the investment community don't really know that our company exists, and they don't know how to get into Cuba. We think we're the place to be. Our investors have a lot to look forward to in the next year and a half. There's going to be a lot of events for sports, and there'll be exposure to multinational events in Cuba on sports. We already announced the October 7th friendly between the USA and Cuba. In a few months there'll probably be a baseball game as well, and it will go on and on and on from there. The other opportunity that we're very excited about is developing the coffee crop with Cuba Mountain Coffee and Nespresso. Nespresso has expressed a deep interest in progressing with Cuba Mountain Coffee, specifically to supply the North American market. The TSX has been more special in this case than it usually is. This company was listed in England, and the problem was the banking environment in Europe was so difficult because of sanctions and embargoes and penalties on banks. We were not able to really expose or grow the company over there. We had to come to Canada because Canada has much better and more correct relations with Cuba, and that's where the TSX really shined.